Hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and well, tonight we're just gonna relax for a bit and work on some stuff. Not many of you in here. I got a couple of people, but, you know, that's okay. Because at least with this up, I've got a little bit more accountability, so to say, and needing to stay on task. You know, now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't be showing this on stream. Or the player's handbook I'll be working with as well. Yeah, let me fix that real quick. I will just make this bigger. Oh god, that's a terrible idea. Well, I got no good ideas on how to set this up in a better way. Then again, as far as I know, the Noble Wild's been taken off all the stores, so it might be public domain now. What is the copyright on this thing? Hmm. — 2008. Oh, okay. So, things published after 1977 will not fall into public domain until 70 years after the death of author, or for corporate works, anonymous works, or works for hire, 95 years from the date of publication. Holy crap. Well, this is not public domain yet, for sure. We can be certain about that. So, I will just make this bigger. Bear with me one moment. What I'm working on is going to involve a lot of referencing, and why did that go like that? Ugh. Now, why is this doing... Sometimes, guys, sometimes. Here, maybe now it'll be working. There we go. For the love of all that is flippin' holy. So, what I've got to do here, as I put in here, that's just a general little note for players that are wanting to use this information. But we need to adjust things so that, you know, it works with 5th edition. Because the Noble Wild was made for 3.5. And it's quite outdated. I tried to implement a lot of information into this sheet, and it's just not working for me. So my plan is to give it a nice revamp, overhaul, get it more in line with the original vision for the Noble Wilds. We're really only going to be focusing on things that are actually going to be used during the course of play, because there's no sense in me going through all what there's like, if I can find the right frickin' page, there we go. There's somewhere around about 50. Yeah, I'd estimate around 50 different races that are introduced in the Noble Wild book. And there's no sense in adapting them unless we're actually using them. Or at least, you know, not right this second. You know? Alright, so, let's see. Where to begin? I think that the first place I'm going to start is with adjusting the classes. Like the actual official classes from the player's handbook. I think that would be the... possibly... That is also a lot of work. Hey, Festian, how's it going? Holy crap. As I'm just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to get to the top of the class list and realizing just how much I've got to do to work on all this. Oh, fudge muffin. So, something that you guys will probably have to deal with is a bit of typing in this. As I am, you know, not always going to mute myself, or I don't want to control A. Just this line. Let's give it... Sure. Heading 1 works. So adjust the classes or make the races? I mean, we do only need 2 races in all this. Well, when it comes to the classes, I mean, while there is a lot to go through here, ultimately, there's not a whole lot that I'd actually have to do with each class. Some of the main things are, for adjusting the classes are things like fighting styles. Those don't really fit for, a lot of those don't really fit for, a feral character. Like the fighter, for example. We don't have anybody trying to play a feral animal fighter right now, but I might as well just go through and adjust them all in one go. Because races are generally easy. But yeah, like fighting styles, you got archery, which, you know, animals can't use bows. That gives a +2 bonus to attack rolls. Yeah, that... When you make with ranged weapons, that is. That doesn't help us. That doesn't help a feral animal. Defense, while you are wearing armor, you gain +1 to AC. That could be useful for a feral animal. Dueling, when you are wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls. That doesn't help. And then great weapon fighting, when you make an attack with a two-handed weapon, again, doesn't help a feral. And then you got the protection. There's just a lot of these that are great for somebody that uses weapons, but for a feral, their weapons are built into their body. Exactly, Festian. I am actually going to start this off, though. No, we'll just say noble animal. Yeah, that'll work. Make this a line. Heading 2 works. Because, you know, a feral animal, they can't make the somatic components. They can't form, or they can't make use of, well, most of them can't make use of material or somatic components. And most of those, therefore, aren't a thing that they have to worry about. However, there are... Instead, feral animals use blood components. Alright, so let's get started. So magical transparency. I need to remember the shortcut for selecting a line. I definitely don't remember that. The magic practiced by... noble animals differs vastly from that practiced by humanoids. Most magic used... I'm not copying this from the book, for the record. I'm just kind of going based off of what I'm not plagiarizing, let me put it that way. I'm just adapting it in my own words here. I mean, even still, this is entirely just an adaptation from 5e, from 3.5 to 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. But these kinds of things do work. It basically, this here, the magical transparency transfers over directly. Basically what it is a human, even a human wizard, would have no idea what the spells are without, you know, prior training, specifically in how noble animals cast spells. Because, you know, they don't cast spells the same way as a human does. Or an elf, or whatever. For them, their magic, I mean, just starting at the blood component factor, instead of just simply casting the spell with somatic components and such, really all a human wizard might notice is, like, spells such as Fireball. Obviously, they're going to see the effects of that. They're going to understand that that's Fireball. But another spell, such as Alarm, not so much. They wouldn't be able to recognize exactly what the spell is simply by its presence. Though, I don't know if we should keep this. I mean, it definitely makes sense, but at the same time, for balancing purposes, I'm thinking that we may just do away with the magical transparency system here. I do like the blood components, but like something that they specify is counterspell does not work between that animal-humanoid divide. So if, say, Nighttrotter, as a noble wolf sorcerer, is casting Fireball, it could not be counterspelled by a human wizard. Which I'm kind of thinking, that seems a bit... It's a bit more than I think we should need to track. So, you know, we're just not gonna keep it. Especially since it can easily lead into arguments of, well, they couldn't know that I'm casting this. How would they be able to tell? There's always those rules lawyers who will manipulate everything under the sun to get every single advantage they can. So, you know, we're just gonna remove this. I do like the idea of blood components, though. That really fits well. As a way to make up, and they do actually, I mean, animals do have somatic components, they just, well, I guess the magical transparency really does fit because, I mean, for example, casting Fireball for a somatic component might just be a particular wag of the tail to throw out the giant ball of fire. Well, actually, you know, technically it's just a little itty-bitty small ball of fire that runs over there and then explodes in a huge explosion, but that's beside the point. I don't know, what do you think, Vestian? I'm guessing that Vestian is not actually here at the moment. Which means I'm off, struggling through this all by my lonesome. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep this function. However, I would probably say that a humanoid wizard might be able to sense the magical power as opposed to just they have no idea this is going on, which is the way that the book has it. So plus, nowadays we've got the Arcana skill, which can be used very easily to identify, you know, a source of magic itself. They would probably not be able to identify specifically that there's a spell going on, or what spell rather, but they could, they could reasonably, it would be reasonable that they would understand, okay, there is magic going on in this area. They might even be able to pinpoint it to the squirrel or the wolf or whatever animal it's coming from. Just not realize, okay, that's Fireball they're casting. You know, until the Fireball shoots out from their mouth or paw or whatever. All right. Sorry guys, I'm just focusing on the typing here. cast by a noble animal. Without being trained in identifying which particular movements cause which spells, a humanoid would be unable to identify the spell being cast by a noble animal. This works the other way around as well. A noble animal would be unable to identify a particular spell being cast by a humanoid. Spellcasters on both sides of the humanoid animal divide can utilize the Arcana skill to identify that a spell is being cast, period, however. Alright. Visual effects of spells can be clearly identified based on their effects. However, the original casting and verbal somatic components cannot be used to figure it out. For example, a human wizard without the proper training, or without the proper feat. They do have a special feat that bridges this divide for spellcasters. For example, a human wizard could not identify that a fireball is being cast by the squirrel in the tree. But a fireball is a fireball once cast, regardless of who cast it. Sure, I'll change that. Eliminating spells that have no visual effect can have their magical presence detected utilizing an Arcana check, but without the proper feat. A humanoid could not identify the particular spell if it was cast by a noble animal, and vice versa. Hey, Mr. Square Peg, good to see you again. Kind of just having a relaxing stream here, mostly using you guys as, I don't think accountability would exactly fit for the term, but I'm gonna go with it. You're keeping me accountable, so I actually stay working, you know? I tried to work on this stuff yesterday, and I turned on One Piece on Netflix, because I've never seen it, and to, you know, listen / idly watch in the background. And, well, I got 0 work done yesterday. So, you guys are helping me keep focused here. But what I'm working on, or what I'm doing here, is I am adapting a third-party supplement made for Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 edition, or 3rd edition. I don't know which is which one specifically, but called The Noble Wild. Basically, the purpose of the book is to allow players to play as sapient animals. So, a noble wolf would be a 4-legged wolf that just, you know, they're intelligent, they're aware, they're sapient, you know? We don't have any games that utilize 3.5 edition, so I'm working to adapt it to 5th edition. Unfortunately, the original creators of the book did not adapt it, and that's why I'm having to do it myself and figure out how the hell to actually do it. Because converting from 3.5 to 5th edition, not easy. Not easy at all. I should turn down the music a little bit here. That's a bit loud in my ear. But otherwise, Mr. Squarepeg, I'm just here to chat with you guys, you know? It's nice to sit back, relax, and chat a little bit here and there, you know? This is for D20 Modern. I don't want They made this book to work with D20 Modern, which is cool, but that doesn't work for... I mean, they've got a section that allows it to work with D20 Modern. interesting. It's an interesting setting. My problem with D20 Modern is literally you get shot once and you're dead. We tried playing it once with my dad, and my dad killed us all off in a matter of seconds. Like, we spent, you know, an hour making characters just to immediately get killed. Let's see here, though. There is a particular... Ah, the gift of understanding. Oh, jeez. Alright, I am going to slide over real quick. Heading 1 feet. Now, how do I do columns? Ah, here we go. I didn't really want it to apply to up here, but I guess that works. It's just that for some reason they always... Well, actually, I can see why they do columns. It kind of makes sections feel larger than they actually are. But anyways, I'm going to put in this feat. The gift of understanding. You can recognize and use humanoid magic. Actually, humanoid animal magic. Because this particular feat is used for, we'll just do it as a heading 4. Oh. Now see, that could be interesting, Mr. Square Peg. That could be fun. I don't remember the setting or anything that my dad did with it. I just remember that we immediately got into combat and immediately died. Prerequisite intelligence 13 plus. Caster level 3rd. Make this bold. You know what? We're going to do line spacing. We're gonna do this because this is getting kind of there we go. That's much better. Having that nicer, you know, without it all being all jumbled up, there's at least a space between each paragraph. That'll be much better, much easier to follow. Alright, bold benefit. Your detect magic spells, or spell and abilities will now be able to detect humanoid, animal, items, and spells. You can use Arcana to identify humanoid, animal, spells. You can use humanoid, animal, manufactured magic items that were not designed for one or the other. Finally, you can read humanoid, animal magic, or we'll say you can read and understand humanoid spell scrolls. Yeah, go for it, Festian. And learn humanoid animal spells. This feat differs across the humanoid animal divide based on which side the taker is on. That'll work. TLDR of the short campaign I ran was basically something went wrong during an experiment at a lab where the scientists managed to rip a small hole in space-time, resulting in a morgue to become filled with undead. Oh, neat! That sounds fun. So humanoids can understand noble animal spells, etc., and vice versa. This is, I mean, this could be useful, Festian. It's just that, you know, it's very broad. I do see that they get more specific on it, but this book goes into very in-depth detail. Though I find it funny that they don't actually add in wolf. Like, they got fox, they've got hedgehog, and they even have porcupine, but not wolf. But thank you, Vestian. I could possibly make use of some of it for for helping me adapt from Noble Wild. Honestly, a good comparison that they might actually have taken the concept of the Noble Wild from would be the Chronicles of Narnia. It just occurred to me because I reread the books, well, listened to the audiobooks recently, and but I reread the books recently, and, you know, there were animals that could talk and were sapient, and then there were animals that were just basic, unintelligent animals. So basically in this, it was, with the Noble Wild, it's more that they are... Yeah, I do see that there's an otter. Unfortunately, the Noble Wild doesn't actually give stats for a Marten, and I'm gonna have a hell of a time adapting, or balancing a Marten, considering, you know, Martens they really are very overpowered animals. I mean, they really, truly are. I don't know... they don't have any natural predators. Is what skill checks or saving throws, Square Peg? But yeah, Martens don't have natural predators because, you know, I mean, if it can take down a deer, I think it could take down a fox or a wolf. It would be harder, but it could be done. Martens are very much they drop down on you from above and go straight for the throat. And of course, they are wriggling around on your back, and I mean, in the case of a wolf, it's probably the same fighting / hunting maneuver that they use for a deer is, you know, go for the throat, or drop down on the back and go straight for the throat. Just kinda, you know, how they work. Without this feat, humanoid and noble animals. Noble animal magic is invisible to the other side. There. now that that's in here, I can actually put that into this description. Also, we're gonna make this whole page justified. I would definitely say that would be a Constitution saving throw. Oh, hey there, Neon. How you doing? Yeah, it's typically a saving throw to resist stuff like that. Alright, down to blood components. Arcane/divine foci. Noble animal spellcasters do not utilize. Cannot utilize foci of any kind, including arcane, spell foci. Let's see, what are some of the others? There is holy symbols, etc. They simply do not require them for casting spells, and therefore ignore their requirement. It is... oh. Requirement. It is common for a deity to mark a noble animal with their holy symbol, if I can type, somewhere on the animal's body, which will glow when such a mark is required. The symbol may be as prominent as being on their forehead, or more subtle, either a hidden patch of fur. Another color. Fur that simply glows in the shape of the symbol when needed. And just to make sure people don't argue on this glow is not enough to produce light to see. Some arcane spellcaster, some noble animal arcane spellcasters may also have magical runes placed in their fur in similar manners. These marks can be targeted by the light spell, or by the light and similar spells. There will be people that argue such things. It's kind of annoying. We don't need that justified. Oh, interesting. So it seems that spellcasters can grant boons. If they basically, like, there is a spell, a deer sorcerer might have the spell grant natural weapon, which would, like the book says here, which could be used to give a bear wizard antlers. But the bear wizard could not use the grant natural weapon spell to grant antlers to another animal. It's something that they have to possess naturally. That's a kind of interesting, that's an interesting little tidbit. But holy crap, that's a very large section of information. Alright, back to blood components, because that's the primary thing we're gonna need to worry about. I guess we don't really need a line space in between each of these. That feel... So, is this whole thing not gonna give me the line spacing? Page setup. Let's go with this. Ooh. Oh god, that would be awful. Why would I do that? Go away. Just set as default. Okay. That doesn't help me. Why do I have to manually increase that every time? Ugh! Alright, so heading 3. Blood components. Material. We'll put that in as a little note so people understand, okay, this has to do with material components. Uno momento. Alright. Noble animals do not place the same value to material objects as humanoids do. As such, they are unlikely to carry many trinkets or components with them for casting spells. Instead, noble animals cast spells that have a material component, normally, utilizing their health. For the noble animal variant of any spell, which is basically any spell cast by, or learned / cast by a noble animal without the gift of understanding, you replace the material component with an equivalent blood component. Blood components. If we For spells having any material component up to 1 GP in value, including those with no value, the caster will take 1 HP in damage. For material components above 1 GP in value, the noble animal, or a humanoid with the gift of understanding feat that is casting the noble animal variant of a spell, will take 10% of the cost in HP damage. Up to a maximum of 20 HP per spell. This damage cannot be healed through any means, magical or mundane, short of a wish spell, but is recovered naturally at the end of a long rest. This essentially lowers the noble animal's max HP by the health cost. Let me make sure I didn't... Oh, it's, rounded down up to a maximum of 20 HP per spell. It is replacing the material component, Seriocon. I was actually going to put an example in here. This HP cost is only for noble animal spells. A noble animal casting a humanoid spell with the gift of understanding will still require the actual material components. That is correct, Sirio. Now the thing is that when a noble animal acquires a spell, it is considered a noble animal spell. However, if they went and learned a humanoid spell, so like Fireball has both a humanoid and a noble animal variant. They're the exact same. However, you know, maybe... I'm not sure I agree with this up to a maximum of 20 HP. I can understand why they would do that, but at the same time, that does make it... It's one of those things that are difficult to balance properly. Because, you know, a 1,000 gold piece diamond, yeah, it would cause it to only do 20 HP in damage. But a noble animal could kill themselves by casting a spell that requires more health than they actually have. Then again, this was built for 3.5 edition, so we could say that it's still the 10% of the cost in HP damage. However, it would be a matter of like, for example, if they cast the 1000 GP worth diamond spell, the problem is where would they carry them and how would they acquire, like, how would they carry them and how would they use them? That's kind of the difficult point, and I understand why they went with blood components. I mean, for most adventuring parties, you get to the point where material components don't matter. You've got enough money that you can go cast whatever spell you want, and you don't have to worry about it. But the way it works is that if you cast a spell with 1000 GP value, it does, so with the 10%, if we remove the maximum, that would be 100 health and damage right there. Just to cast a single spell. And, I mean, most spellcasters have very low health pools. So that, I mean, the way that, you know, that's not a bad idea, Sirio. Actually, I like that idea a lot. Something that, like some kind of magical bloodstone that when they have access to magic, it is something that is simply formed inside of them. It would not be able to be used for anything other than this blood component, but that is a great idea, Sirio. Now, on the plus side with, I would probably say inside, but yeah, there's something along the lines of the carbuncle stone. But I like that idea a lot. See, this is why I stream this. You guys come up with great ideas I never would have thought of. But anyways, 5th edition, of course, works very differently for death than previous editions. Like, if you have 20 health, 20 HP, you only die if you either fail your death saves 3 times, or less if you roll a 1, or you can, or you take your full HP in, or basically double your HP in damage. So if you've got 28 max HP, and you take 40 points of damage in one blow, then you're dead. I think we might do it where you can only store up to your spellcasting ability score per day. So if you're a wizard and you've got 20 intelligence, then you can store 20 HP in it per day. I think that might work decently well. Yeah, I think we'll start without having a cap on it. I will put in a little line that says, you know, if you put all of your health into it at the start of a long rest, all except for, 1 point of health, then, you take a 2 point, you take 2 points of damage and you're dead. If you've only got one max HP. So I'll let them decide how they want to balance it. Because if they decide to do that, exhaustion could be an interesting mechanic, but I think it might be better to avoid that. Maybe if they put more than half of their HP into it in one go, it will cause exhaustion. I think that might work better. But I like that idea. Thank you. All right. If taking the blood component damage causes the caster to be reduced to below 0 hit points, they immediately go unconscious. Thank you, Google. But is stable. But are stable. They remain as if in a coma until their hit points are again over 0. Such as... Actually, no. Following the normal course, or the normal rules for unconscious health recovery. I don't fully understand 5th edition's unconscious health recovery system, because I know at the end of a long rest you go back to full health, but that's only if you are conscious. If you are stable but left there unconscious on the ground or something, you do recover slowly, but you won't actually... you would go back to 1 HP. Well... we'll just leave that in there and let the DMs figure out what those rules are. Let me double check and make sure that I actually remember the rules for outright death. Causes instant death. Oh god, this website is set up terribly. These colors do not work. This is so hard to read. Okay. What the hell is this on about? Wound points? Okay, this is literally called Overcomplicated D&D 5e Wiki. That's not what I'm looking for. Google, don't... this is wrong. This is misleading or inaccurate. Take it away. Let's see here. All right. Apparently that's on the Player's Handbook, page 197. Let me double check. So actually, I was slightly wrong with instant death. Say you have 20 hit points maximum, and you have taken enough damage to have 2 hit points left. If you then take a hit that causes 22 points of damage, 2 for how much you've got left, and 20 for your max HP, that's when you die. I was always thinking that it was based on, you know, double your max. No, it's based on if the attack would put you at negative whatever your max is from where you were before. So, that's good to freshen up on. Oh, right. I forgot to actually check if that's the right page number. Okay, yes it is. The caster... or the spell is cast, but the caster dies instantly. So the spell will have its effect, but the caster will just bleh. Alright, now to start setting up the bloodstone mechanics. So these are heading 3? Yes. So then I will use heading 4 here. And we're gonna make this bold to make it stand out more. Bloodstone. Noble animals. Or... Alright, so noble animals... Actually, you know what? Google Docs, adjust tab size. There we go. I want just a smaller tab on all of these. What the hell? Oh my god. Would you apply this stupid stuff to the entire freaking... I swear this, Google Docs is gonna be the death of me, guys. I'm gonna be done in because of Google Docs. Which page is that on, Sirio? Just so I can put it in here. Noble animals, or humanoids with the gift of understanding feat, naturally develop a bloodstone inside their bodies. This bloodstone may be is similar to a sort of tumorous mass, but if extracted, appears similar to a gemstone. It may be inside the animal's... It may be hidden inside the animal's body somewhere, or rarely, we'll say, it appears outside the animal's body, embedded in the skin. Oh, so it's the same page as that. Alright. PHB page 190. Oh, I'm actually on this. I'm actually on this page. Page 197/198. But I'm putting this little bit in here, that it can appear embedded in the skin. So that way, you know, if somebody wants it to cosmetically appear on their forehead or something, they can. You know, it's entirely up to them. I'm not gonna, you know, limit them on what they might want to have happen. This bloodstone can be used by a caster of noble animal magic to store their health for use in future spells. This health can only be used in the casting of spells. There is no limit on how much... Oh. You may choose at any time to store a portion of your health, of your HP in this stone, lowering your max HP by the amount. I'm gonna describe it similar to a tumorous mass. Well, yeah, I guess we can remove that. That wording could be a little sensitive. This lowers your max HP by the amount stored until you finish a long rest. You know what? We're not going to... Well... Then again, if they want to sit in a tavern for several days just building this up, where they are very unlikely to get attacked, that could be a little broken. So yeah, that exhaustion mechanic is definitely a good idea, Serial Con. Thank you. I'm grabbing my blanket. I am a little cold. Oh crap, what am I am dragging the entire frickin' room with me! One moment! I hate it when you get into those situations where it's like, your upper body, too warm. Your lower body, too cold. Why can't I just have it, you know, nice, where I want it across the entire body, you know? Ugh. Not sure what? Am I just crazy or has anybody else experienced this? Please validate my complaint. You know? Maybe it's because I'm so tall, you know? My lower body is in a completely different biome from my upper body. Maybe that's what's going on. Yeah, that's what we'll blame it on. Anyways, where the hell were we? How did I manage to type in by the amount twice? God damn it. With the same mechanics as casting a spell until you finish a long rest. Storing more than half of your current max HP in this manner will cause you to gain a point of exhaustion, which can be recovered oh wait, no. Will cause you to gain a point of exhaustion at the end of the long rest when you recover this lost HP. Is that clear enough? I don't know. I don't feel like it's quite clear enough. What do you guys think? Storing more than half of your current max HP in this manner will cause you to gain a point of exhaustion at the end of the long rest when you recover this lost HP. Maybe I'll put in an example. Yeah, I'll put in an example. I mean, you could do it again after the first long rest, but then you would go to a second point of exhaustion. But yes, the ideal point would be needing 2 long rests. And that is only if you do it with more than half of your current max HP. If you normally have 30 max HP, but have used 10 of it to cast spells during the day, then you store reducing it to 20, or reducing your max to 20, then you store 11 HP in your Bloodstone. At the end of your next long rest, you will... This is very much a run-on sentence, but I have no idea how to better word it. You will return to 30 max HP and have 11 HP in your Bloodstone, but also have a point of exhaustion. I'm also going to put in this. New noble animal characters start with half of their max HP rounded up in their Bloodstone. It won't give them much, but it'll give them something as a little starting point, you know? I don't think many cantrips require, or many, if any at all, require material components, but this way, you know, it'll give them a little step up from, and let them cast stuff without, you know, reducing their massive 4 HP to 0 with one spell kind of situation. I might as well stick this in here for you guys to read over stuff, and you can go back and be like, you can go back and tell me, you should go look at this part again, maybe adjust it this way, as I'm going along with all this. Just so you guys, actually, I should go post that in the creator chat. So it's there in the stream chat, but I'm also putting it in the creator chat on Discord. I think that all makes sense. Now let's make it all justified. Line spacing. Add space after paragraph. There we go. All right. A lot of stuff. I don't think I don't think it's really a note anymore. Why is this not fitting on one line? We're gonna set it as that. Oh hey, it finally registered that I want it all justified. But it took away the add space before paragraph again. Find it funny how I am doing all of this and I'm not, I don't really want to bother with a roll for it. I mean, I did put in here that they will not get that exhaustion recovered at the end of the long rest. That is how I described it in here. Are you meaning they should get to roll like Constitution save to avoid the exhaustion? Is that what you're talking about? Alright, on to the classes themselves. Oh, okay, I see what you mean, Sirio. Yeah, I would agree with that. Alright, storing more than half will cause you to gain a point of exhaustion, which will not recover at the end of your next long rest, when your max HP does. When the HP is stored, it will immediately give you a point of exhaustion. When at the end of your next long rest, You will return to 30 max HP and have 11 HP in your Bloodstone, but the point of exhaustion will remain. This point of exhaustion can be recovered the following day. Well, I mean, this is also only if you store more than half of your max HP into it. So basically, the way that I have it worded, or rather, the way I have it in my head, which may or may not be reflected on paper here, or, you know, the digital sheet, the way that I have it in my head is that you, basically, the first, day one, you store 11 HP in your Bloodstone. Using these example stats here, you store 11 HP in your Bloodstone. You gain that point of exhaustion. It's still there for day 2. Day 2, you decide to store only only 14 HP in your Bloodstone. Then, because, you know, you went back up to max HP of 30. Then day 2, you would be able to recover the exhaustion. Hey there, Iron Wolf. How are you? Good morning. It's nice to see some people talk to me. Certain other person I know is in the chat, but won't actually talk. Oh, there he goes. Now he's talking. Yeah, storing 15 HP would give a second point of exhaustion. However, if they do choose to do only 14 the second day, then they could recover that point of exhaustion. Yeah, well, I just got done working and lots of overtime and stuff. So, yeah. I'm still going. Alright, Barbarian. That is correct. Well, no, the first one of them could. I don't want to make it too harsh on them, considering, you know, when they could realistically take 100 points of damage with one spell, and, you know, most wizards, even at, it would take them to level 10 to have, I mean, hell, even at level 10, they only have 40 max HP. Not count, or sorry, if they have 20 Constitution, a 10th level wizard could, at most, you know, have 90 points of health. 90 max HP. So, and if they're storing that, you know, it can be very difficult. That is true, Sirio. Now that you put it in gold piece value, that is true. Yeah. Maybe instead of doing the exhaustion, we will just put a cap on it that you can only store half of your HP. Maybe that would be a better way and less complicated. Plus, we can hopefully avoid players doing the whole, you know, well, I'm safe in this tavern. I'm gonna just keep 1 HP, take the exhaustion, and we'll be good. And then the tavern gets attacked and they take 2 points of damage and die. I mean, it's not hard for... Yeah, it's going to need a lot of testing. And we'll be getting the testing live on stream. And like I put at the very beginning of this, please be aware all of this information is fully subject to change as it is playtested. I think it would be simpler and easier to just say you can only store up to half of your HP rounded down. So if you've got, you know, 9 points of health, you can only store 4 points into it per day. I think that might be a simpler and easier method of doing this. Yeah, I think that would be better, the easier route. You may choose at any time to store up to half of your current max HP in this stone. Here, noble animals. All right, Festian, have a good night. You can choose to utilize either their bloodstone or their HP to power a stone, or to power a spell, or mix and match, or part of each as they please. Upon death, all HP, or all HP stored in the Bloodstone is immediately lost, even if the caster is later resurrected. There. But I'm out of water. Somebody come over here and give me some water. Oh wait, I've got a water bottle right over here. Wait. Where'd I put my water bottle? Oh yeah, it's up there. Oh wait, that's got caffeine in it. I don't want caffeine right now. Oh, how long has this jug of water been sitting here? Oh, okay. I saw the bottle date of 3/23/20 and I was like, okay, seriously, how long has this been sitting here? Because I thought it was the Best Buy date for this bottle, or this jug of water. No, that was when it was bottled, not, you know, how long it's good till. This could be better worded. Noble animals can choose to utilize their bloodstone and or their HP to power a spell. As they please. For example, if you cast a spell costing...
You have asked the DM on it. Do you want to open it?
No! Go away! Frickin' Alexa! Costing 30 HP. You can choose to take... eight HP from your current HP, and let's see, what is that? 22 HP from your bloodstone, or any such combination. Okay, I'm done messing with the bloodstone. On to the barbarian. Life of danger. They seem to have a lot of danger right in here with the, you know, a barbarian just wielding his big old axe with almost no armor on, practically naked, and charging in, getting all mad and stuff. And it's just a dangerous life that they lead. Charging right up into their faces and saying hello, and, yeah, it's just a real dangerous life they lead. Oh, yep. Yep. I don't see a whole lot right off the bat to adjust with the, Get your mind out of the gutter, Iron Wolf. I don't see a whole lot to change with the Barbarian. A lot of these... I'm thinking something that I will do is make it so that all noble animals make use of either 1d6 or 1d... or the d6 or d4 for damage dice for their natural weapons. And from there, I'm thinking that I will... like, they can't make use of simple or martial weapons. So perhaps instead I will give them extra damage if they are utilizing a martial weapon. Or if they have proficiency with martial weapons normally. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Then again, the Noble Wilds do have what they called attitudes, which are fairly similar to some things that I was thinking about for doing. In what I was thinking would be like noble stances. Let me go freshen up on the noble animal their attitudes that they have in here and see exactly what they do with those. Oh, right. I should add in a section for this. I don't care for a lot of what they do on this, but it's also for 3.5. I don't know. Basically, basically, noble animals can designate one of their natural attacks as as their primary natural weapon. As it says here, an attack with a character's primary natural weapon uses the character's full attack bonus and receives the character's full strength bonus to damage. However, that was also 3.5, where they didn't have finesse weapons back then. Instead, it was, okay, this is a melee weapon, it's all strength. This is a ranged weapon, it's all dexterity. There wasn't a distinction one way or the other. It says here, if a character has only one natural weapon, it is always considered to be their primary natural weapon, and receives 1.5 times their strength bonus to damage, unless they use a manufactured weapon, see below, yada yada yada. I don't think it worked the same way, though, Seriocon. Uh, let's see here. I think this is the player's handbook from back then. No, that's the Dungeon Master's Guide. Oh, that's the player's handbook. I happen to have the 3.5 edition core rulebook right here. Let's see, feats. They had so many feats back in 3.5. The feats in 5th edition, they're much more powerful, but they're also not as numerous. But you also don't get them as often. There definitely isn't a finesse option on any of this. I'm just skimming through the benefits here to see what they might have in here. Weapon finesse? I think that was something else. Oh, right, you are correct, yeah. But they didn't have, they did not have, abilities that, they did not have weapons that were by default finesse, as opposed to just strength. Which is a change that I like. I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're just not gonna keep this mechanic, period. It's a bit complicated here. Alright, let's see here. Defensive attitudes in combat. Noble animals, while lacking access to wide varieties of armor and equipment, are still capable of various means of self-defense. While these methods lack some of the protective capability of a suit of armor, they make up for it in ease of use and versatility. Each morning the character must choose a defensive attitude he has access to, and a trigger condition for a second. He is considered to be in the stated defensive attitude for the entire day, unless the trigger condition is met, in which case he immediately switches to the second attitude and stays in it for the rest of the day. It is perfectly acceptable to choose none as either a starting or triggered attitude. Trigger conditions can be combat starts, magic is cast near you, you take damage, blah 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 blah. Apparently you can even be like, I'm gonna switch my attitude because it starts to rain. Okay. If a character is wearing armor of any type, he may not adopt an attitude. I disagree with that. Noble animal character. But then again, in this one, they tend to give a lot of natural armor to characters, and I'm trying to avoid that. While in an aggressive attitude, the noble animal is constantly seeking for an advantage against opponents and potential opponents. He may tend to snap at other creatures, friend and foe, for no apparent reason, and will often be quick to anger. Effects. While using this attitude, the character gains a +1 dodge bonus to AC. The constant alertness and aggressive behavior can sometimes interfere with the mindset of a spellcaster, so this attitude carries a 5% arcane spell failure. The bonus provided by this attitude is counted when figuring in a character's touch AC, but not their flat-footed AC. And they basically, they get very complicated with these attitudes. Like, there's cautious, which gives you +2 dodge bonus to AC, but their speed is reduced. Then there's sturdy. While using this attitude, the character's speed is reduced. And they gain a +2 Mystic Armor bonus to AC and damage resistance of 1/dash. I never understood how damage resistance worked in 3.5. It was very complicated to me. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep most of these I don't think I'm gonna keep any of these, actually. Because most of this is just like, you're going from... they just effectively get more and more weird. Noble animals also have this interesting mechanic called deeds. Iron Wolf, I am going to adjust them, but them by themselves I will not be utilizing. What I was thinking is you would have an aggressive stance where your natural attack basically becomes the equivalent of a greatsword in damage. Then we would have... Yeah, Sirio, they got so complicated with 3.5. It was... Holy crap. But what I'm thinking is you could have an aggressive stance, which I will probably base it on their actual size, actually, instead of, you know, just, you know, a tiny animal suddenly having as much damage as a greatsword. That's a bit much. Half Damaguri. Yeah, I know that that's how resistance works in 5e. I'm talking about 3.5. I have no idea, Sirio. So how many times do you growl at people? So basically, deeds are... basically, you get deeds when you accomplish some manner of... something. It differs from deed to deed, and there is a tree, and they all have... You know, you got first level of it up to 5th level of the deed. So deed descriptions, we've got Brother to Winds, which is only available to noble horses. The first level deed is Burst of Speed. Prerequisite, you must win a race of at least 1 mile with another horse, without using any magical aid. Benefit, you can cast Expeditious Retreat once per day. And then the second level of the D of Brother to Winds is Calling the Zephyr. Prerequisite, you must run with a storm, racing with it for a full day. And that unlocks the ability to cast Gust of Wind once per day. The third deed is Leap. Prerequisite, you must leap over either a 25-foot chasm or a 7-foot wall. The benefit, you can cast Jump 5 times per day. Now, all of these must be completed in order. So if you leap a 7-foot wall before you have Run with the Storm, you'd have to leap that 7-foot wall again later. And these deeds are very this is a very interesting concept. I really like it. It's just the problem with using them is that, you know, you got the fact of humanoid players have nothing similar. And so you could realistically start getting more and more overpowered. But at the same time, in this, with the Noble Wild, only, like, dogs, horses, and I think 1 or 2 other animals can actually use barding. So, such as this armored aura here. Prerequisite, you must have been struck by a foe in combat. Bonuses from this deed tree can stack with boons that also grant bonuses to armor class, up to a maximum of +5. I mean, if you want to find a storm and race with it, you talk with your DM and they can let you do that. Hey there, Fox Kent. How's it going? But anyways, the Armored Aura, the first deed is just +1 enhancement to armor class. The prerequisite for this, you must be involved in, and at least struck a blow toward, the defeat of an opponent whose level is equal to or greater than your own. The second level is a +2. Prerequisite, you must be involved in and at least struck a blow toward the defeat of an opponent who has some sort of magical resource, spells, items, etc. Third level, +3, you must win a battle in which you are outnumbered. That one would give you +3 bonus to armor class. +4, you must be involved in and at least struck a blow toward the defeat of an undead opponent. And that's a +4 enhancement to armor class. And then the fifth deed is a +5. And the prerequisite, you must win a battle in which you are outnumbered at least 5-1. And that is for a +5 bonus to armor class. Like, it's not that overpowered when you look at all this stuff you've got to do in order to unlock this deed. I don't know if we want to keep it. For the record, all of these deeds do require that you have a minimum character level. So for the first level of a deed, you need to be first level. For the second level of the deed, you need to be second level. Third level of the deed, you need to be fourth level in various classes. For the fourth level of a deed, you need to be 7th level, and then the 5th level of a deed, you need to be 11th level. So it's not like you can unlock all of these, you know, right off the bat. So, one of these deed trees is called Cruel Jester. The prerequisite is that you have to be a noble hyena or monkey. So the first level of this deed is the Gift of Laughter. Prerequisite: you must make an opponent laugh during combat. Optional rule: if you make your entire gaming group, including the DM, laugh all at once through in-character action, you can also qualify for this deed. And that gives you the ability to cast Hideous Laughter once per day. And yeah, they just have some interesting little effects. And I love this. I really like this kind of mechanic. Oh my god. Fourth level of that same tree. Infectious Laughter. Prerequisite: you must incapacitate an NPC with laughter without resorting to magic. Optional rule: if you can incapacitate your DM through laughter, i.e. they cannot speak for at least 1 minute, you can also qualify for this deed. Like, they're a fun and interesting mechanic, it's just how to balance it and give this to the noble wild animals without making the humanoid ones feel left out, you know? Let me look up at the top, because these deeds are... let's see. Is there any rules regarding playing a campaign with some noble animals and some, like, maybe they'll say deeds are not available to noble animals that utilize that have humanoids in their party. I'm not seeing any here. I'm gonna come up here. I will say, I think I will say that deeds can be will be allowed. However, they'll need to contact me for adaptation, and some of these may not be available or may have other conditions. Such as that armor one, they won't be able to use it in addition to wearing barding. I think that's probably our best bet here. Anyways, back to this. We're gonna add a new section here. Yeah, exactly, SerioCon. So we'll probably have it where, like, that AC bonus will instead, because with the Noble, excuse me, with the Noble Wild Book, most noble animals cannot utilize barding. They just have no armor, period. Instead, they have natural armor, which is supposed to be supplemented by, mage armor does give a bonus. Oh, right. It just sets your armor as a certain level, doesn't it? Like, the base is 10, but with mage armor, it's set to 13. I think you might be right, Serio. Anyways, fighting stances. Noble animals have developed a variety of stances they can adopt in the midst of combat for a variety of bonuses. Switching from one stance to another well, just yeah, we'll do that. Requires the use of a move action. And no matter how many move actions you may have, you can only switch once per turn. These stances are unlocked by your class and are detailed below. I won't do a colon. So this will be a heading 3. Alright, aggressive stance. This stance increases a noble animal in this stance could generally be described as irritable. Occasionally snapping at friend or foe alike, and is quick to anger. Benefit, which I should make bold. When a noble animal is in this stance, their natural weapon attacks are increased by 1 die. For example, a bite attack that would normally do 2d4 damage will instead do 3d4 damage. Yeah, I think I like that. That works for the aggressive stance. Then again, considering that these can be swapped between, and they're mostly meant to replace the fighting style that many classes have access to, I think I might give them a consequence as well. Like for the aggressive stance, perhaps they have disadvantage on wisdom saving throws. What do you guys think about that? Because normally a fighting style you cannot change. But I really think that an animal would be able to swap between them as needed. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dun-dun, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-dum, bum-ba-da, ba-da-da-da-dum, bum-ba-bum, ba-da-da-bum, ba-da-da-ba-da-dum. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go with that. We'll playtest it, see what we think, and then adjust it as needed. The noble animal is more likely to attack or become agitated. Yeah, it makes sense conceptually, but we're gonna need playtesting to see if it is actually balanced. They suffer disadvantage on wisdom saving throws while in this stance, and suffer a -1 penalty to AC. I think that's okay, but again, we'll want to play test it and see if it's broken or not. No, Iron Wolf. Fighting styles do not have disadvantages. But for example, like a fighter with the archery fighting style gains a +2 bonus to attack rolls when they're using a ranged weapon. But a lot of these kinds of, a lot of these sorts of, you know, armor, a lot of these fighting styles require a specific type of equipment. So, you know, an archer, it's with a ranged weapon. Otherwise, it does no real good for them. When you're wearing, when you're only using, there's the dueling fighting style, where you get more damage if you are only using a one-handed weapon. Though some people argue that you can use a shield with the dueling style. Others say no. I'm one of those that say no, but I believe that there is actually, like one of the creators said, that you can use a shield with it. But either way, those kinds of things don't really apply to a animal because they can't use equipment. So the stances are my way of getting around that. The barbarian probably will not get any access to any of these stances, except for the except for, you know, the whatever you call it. I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. I'm gonna move on. So this is heading 3, perfect. Heading 3. Guarded stance. Yeah. Guarded stance is what we'll call this. A noble animal in the guarded stance. Yeah, exactly, Iron Wolf. That's kind of my idea here. Is somewhat distrusting and actively on the lookout for attacks against them. So the benefit here is a +2 bonus to armor class. This stance grants a... the guarded stance is meant to make up for the fact that noble animals cannot use shields. And shields add +2 armor class. And so, this is to make up for that. You know, that disadvantage there. Alright, so this stance grants a +2 bonus to AC. We're allowing them to swap between stances with a move action. And not every noble wild animal will get access to all of these stances. Like this guarded stance, I may or may not give it to the barbarian. The aggressive stance, probably not, because they have other mechanics that they get access to. But that's why I'm also giving them a consequence, is because they can switch between them. Actually, we're going to swap this to by 1d4. Because if I feel like a 1d6 is effective, or a 2d6 is effective, I don't want to give them another d6. Or, is proper, rather. So we'll do it as 1d4. Would normally do 1d6 damage. It will instead do 1d6 plus 1d4 damage. I think that's fair. Let's see here. What consequence should I give them for a guarded stance? Probably a reduction in damage. Noble animal is less willing to attack and suffers a -2 penalty to... Yeah, we'll do attack rolls while in this stance. And actually, instead of wording it as less willing to attack, is more guarded and looking to protect itself even when attacking. Yeah, that wording sounds better to me. Now, one that I think really fits for animals is a hunkered stance. And this one will basically give them the disengage action as a move action. Because the disengage action, if I recall, allows you to disengage and then move. Or am I misremembering this? Let me look it up before I actually put this in. D&D 5e, disengage. Oh my god. Scrolling, 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 scrolling! Okay, so it does not allow you to move after using disengage. So you use... yeah. Yeah, it allows you to move without provoking opportunity attacks. So... maybe in the hunkered stance they can use the disengage action and move half their movement speed. I think that could work because, you know, they are, you know, they are moving lower to the ground. Yeah, but the point is that you switch into this stance with your move action. So, you know, my idea here is when an animal attacks something, they don't just, you know, go in and clash swords. Two humans, yeah, I mean, technically they are kind of doing a dance with their swords, but they're not really just... most of it is usually they are in that same 5-foot space. Whereas a animal... whereas an animal, you know... in a pack, they have different tactics there. But an animal would be constantly circling around their opponent. I know that you can do that without provoking an attack of opportunity, but sometimes an animal will back away from the opponent to pounce onto their back, or something along those lines. And that's kind of what I want to reflect mechanically with this hunkered stance. Does that make sense? Kind of just like a maneuvering around to get into a better position. Without provoking an attack of opportunity. That's not a bad idea, but I don't know if that would exactly fit as well as I would like it to. I think I'll go with where they can use I think I'll go with where they can use the disengage action. Like, they use their move action to switch into the hunkered stance, and then they can, move up to half their movement speed. The consequence for this, though, I'm thinking will probably be that for the sake of attacks, it will be considered as if they are prone, even though they're not. So like melee attacks will have advantage on them, but it's kind of a plus side where ranged attacks will have a disadvantage. I could go for that. That's not a bad idea, Seriocon. Except, the only problem there is that, switching into this stance will cause them to lose their move action. Which means that, sure, I mean, I could still give them the ability to move, but I think I'm just gonna keep it with the disengage setup. But yeah, that is, well, actually, because their consequence will be both an advantage and disadvantage to them, I think I will do it where I like that idea, Sirio. So that way their benefit is also both a advantage and disadvantage. Because they can move, but they'll still take attacks of opportunity, but those are a disadvantage. Yeah, I like that idea, Sirio. To the ground and moves cautiously to better maneuver to a better position when fighting an opponent. Benefit. This stance causes attacks of opportunity from opportunity attacks. I hate that they changed that. It's like, why didn't you just keep that the same? Causes opportunity attacks towards the noble animal to suffer disadvantage. The noble animal may move up to half their movement speed. Creatures one size category or larger. One size category larger. Or creatures that are at least one size category larger than the noble animal may not make an opportunity attack. I think that would work better. And then the consequence. While in this stance, the noble animal is considered prone for impacting, or for effecting attacks against them. This change does not apply to opportunity attacks. While yes, they move away, that will mean that if the enemy follows them, then the enemy will have an advantage on the attack against them. And we'll probably come up with more stances later. I know there... Oh, wait, there is one more that I had thought of. And that is protective stance. You know, I love how I accidentally put these in alphabetical order. I did not realize that until now. It was entirely by accident. A noble animal with this stance seeks to protect and guard their allies. Now this is meant to kind of mimic the fighters. They've got a fighting style similar to this. Though I am going to slightly change it so it'll be a little different. As soon as I find what the hell it is. So I can remember how it's set up by the default. Protection. When a creature you can see attacks a target other than you that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. You must be wielding a shield. But they can't wield a shield, which is why I'm doing this. So, benefit. The noble are if a creature, a noble animal, can see within 5 feet of them, attacks a target other than them, they can use their reaction to jump in the way of the attack, imposing disadvantage and causing the attack to target them instead. And of course the consequence with this stance is that, you know, they'll suffer the attack instead. So, consequence. Your ally is moved 5 feet away from the attacker. There. Gotta keep the right pronouns, I think? Ooh, I like that, Seriocon. Yeah, that's a good idea. Taking the attack and suffering half damage. Yeah, I like that a lot, Seriocon. Thank you. The ally is moved 5 feet away from the attacker. Is knocked prone. And the noble animal takes the space of the... You know, none of these are really benefits or consequences, so I think I'm going to just say effect. Instead of, you know, trying to figure out, okay, is this actually a benefit or is it a consequence? No, we're just gonna have it be the effect of the stance. So the ally is moved 5 feet away from the attacker, is knocked prone, and the noble animal takes the space of the ally. Oh, well, okay then, Sirio. I was actually planning to end here very shortly anyways, because I gotta get some sleep if I'm gonna stream tonight. The noble animal may adopt this stance as part of their reaction, but if they do so, they suffer full damage instead of only half. Yeah, I like that idea. Okay. You know, a dueling stance sounds kind of fun. You get a bonus to damage rolls, well, no, I won't do that. Alright, well, I didn't actually get to any of the classes at all, but I think we made a lot of good progress. I mean, we got all this typed out as well as this. Came up with the bloodstone idea. Speaking of, I am going to insert a page break. Heading. Credits. Serio Khan for their assistance with the Bloodstone idea and others. I like to give credit where credit is due, and I didn't come up with the Bloodstone idea at all, so, you know, there you go. If you wanted, I know you left, but, you know, I'll get with them later when they message, when they pop up next. Anyways, guys, yeah. We will do this. Oh, okay, Sirio, if you want to have a different name in there, let me know. For now, I'll just put your, Twitch name. But anyways, thank you all so much for joining me this evening for, or I guess, technically morning? Yeah, I guess it would technically be morning. So, anyways, thank you all so much for joining me for this tabletop preparation. It was my first attempt of doing something like this, and I'm glad it actually turned out so well. Thank you all so much for coming by. I have no real time to work on this stuff outside of streaming, so why not stream it? You know? Why not? But yeah, check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Patreon, Discord. I think I said that already. They're on the website as well as down in the description below. Thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. It is because of all of you that I'm able to continue bringing these streams to you guys. I really could not do it without you all. And yeah, I will be back later today with... I got no idea. Probably a bit more of this sprinkled in between some other games. We'll see what I wind up deciding to do. But anyways, for now, I bid you all the most fondest adieu. Have a great day, Sirio. Good night, Festian. Have a great day, Nestle and Fox Kent. Have a great day as well, Iron Wolf, if you're still there. See you all next time.